You are welcome to yet another edition of Lawyers and Lawyers Weekly, um, weekly live streaming sessions. You are welcome to yet another of Lawyers and Lawyers Weekly live streaming sessions. Today we'll be talking about local government elections in Nigeria and the growth of democracy. And I am your host, Lazarus Ewahangba, the program director in the head office here in Makurdi, Benue State. So we'll be looking at, as per the topic, our discussion this morning will be focused basically on local government elections across Nigeria. We'll try to look at what local government elections entails, why local government elections, and the issues surrounding local government elections in Nigeria, and we'll attempt to look at the way forward regarding local government elections and the growth of democracy in Nigeria today. Now, having said that, let us begin to look at some very basic terms, as we always do. First of all, one might say we'll try to understand three basic tenets here, three basic issues. The first issue we'll try to understand is local government election, local government itself. We'll try to look at elections, and then we'll try to look at democracy. And we'll try to marry the two together to push the discussion forward. So let's start with the first. Now, what is a local government, or what is local government? Now, local governments are the grassroots governance structures. They are the structures of government that are the closest to the people. They are the grassroots. They are the first level governance, depending on how you are looking at it. If you are looking at it from the ground up, it is the first level of government that is closest to the people. If you are looking at it from the top down, then you say it's the third tier of governance that is the closest to the people. Any way you look at it, it is still that governance unit, that governance structure that is closest to the people. Now, that's what a local government is. Now, going by the definition of the United Nations says that it is the subdivision of a nation constituted by law with substantial powers to control local affairs. Now, this is a very powerful definition. I will take it again. The United Nations define local government as the subdivision of a nation constituted by law with substantial powers to control local affairs. Now, remember we said earlier on that it is the third tier of government that is closest to the people. That means it is dealing with issues that are concerning the local people, people that are within a given vicinity. By constitutional provisions of Nigeria, the minimum number of persons that are supposed to be within a local government is 150,000. It's between 150,000 to 800,000. No local government in Nigeria has over 800,000 people within its enclave, and none has lower than 150,000, going by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, having said that, what we will say, we'll talk about the next issue we'll try to look at now is the issue of elections. Now, what are elections? Elections are a means by which officials or people that are supposed to run the affairs of a government are elected by the people, are chosen by the people. People come together to elect, to vote for peoples of their choice under different political platforms to run the affairs of that government unit, that governance unit of their choice. Now, democracy, as we always say here, we go with the popular definitions of democracy, which is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Yes, like we always say, there are so many definitions of democracy, but this is the definition that everybody is at home with and everybody understands like the back of their hands. So democracy, like we say here, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Now, if you are going to put together these three units together, we will now say there is need for local government in Nigeria to be run by democratically elected people. Now, why is that so? That is so because it is quite important and pertinent that governments at that level are supposed to be run upon the mandate of the people. But as it pertains today, local government elections in Nigeria do not resonate with the tenets of democracy. How do I mean? What we mean here is this. The people of a given local government have the right, the fundamental and constitutional right to elect leaders of their choice at the local government level. This is backed up by law. Even the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, even the 1979 Constitution of the Federal guarantees that. Section 7, I think subsection 1 deals with that issue. Let's see what the Constitution says about that. Section 7, subsection 1 says that the system of local government by democratically elected local government council is under this constitution guaranteed, and accordingly the government of every state shall, subject to section 8 of this constitution, ensure that their existence to ensure their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance and functions of such councils. Now, section 7 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly states that local government governance in Nigeria shall be by democratically elected means, not appointments. Not appointments by anybody, but it's supposed to be by election or by a democratically elected governance structure by the people. But what obtains in Nigeria today, in most states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today, is that local government are run by ad hoc committees. They are under the auspices of caretaker chairmen, caretaker councils, and these caretaker councils are always given a time frame, 6 months, and sometimes at the end of such 6 months, they begin to another circle is run over all the way before. So how did we get here? Now, the 1979 to 1983 Constitution gave local government chairmen that right to dissolve government councils and local government councils and appoint caretaker chairmen. But now let us even go way back beyond 1979 to 1983 Constitution. Local government in Nigeria have always been at the beck and call of executives in Nigeria. Right from the colonial era, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and up to today, local government have always been the tool with which big political bigwigs manipulate governance in Nigeria. That is, for them, local government elections more or less provide an apparatus with which they swing power in their favor, because they always believe and know that as long as they have the control of the local government structures of their state, they have the power to manipulate the electoral outcomes. So state executives all over the country, right from the colonial era up to this moment, have ensured that the control of local government elections in Nigeria is at their control 100%. They control the levers of electoral processes at the grassroots. That's always been like that. And unfortunately, even under this current dispensation, from 1999 till date, local government elections, no state in Nigeria have ever come out with a free and fair and credible local government elections. They are always manipulated in a way or two by the executives of such states. We have a situation where you have a local government election outcome in a state where the ruling party of that state controls 99% of local government seats across the state, and the positions are left with about 1% or even less in some cases. That's how our democracy is run. Now, what are the implications of such a system? How does that augur well for the development of democracy? Now, I want us to imagine the situation. It's even worse because sometimes these governors wake up one morning and dissolve the local government councils. at will and appoint caretaker chairmen who run without the mandate of the people. So, what are the implications of this? How does this augur well for our democracy? We say it's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Now, by the time you appoint caretaker chairmen to run affairs of the government in a council, are they running for the people? Are they running by the people? They are definitely not. So how do you begin to hold people who you don't elect to account? They don't owe the council, the people, nothing. So why would they want to be accountable to them? After all, it's he that pays the piper that dictates the tune. So goes a popular saying. Now let's look at it from this other angle. Imagine we wake up one morning and the federal government dissolves all state governors and appoints caretaker governors. How I believe when such an incident takes place in Nigeria, there will be an outcry. We will see the mother of all protests. People will come out in every crevice and say, this is unacceptable, this is the height of impunity, this is the height of everything. We will all converge in Abuja, we will converge everywhere. In fact, we will occupy the streets until the president is forced to rescind his decision. Just imagine that situation. If, for instance, the president of Federal Nigeria comes out today to say, lo and behold, all the statistical governors that are elected have been dissolved. From today on, we are going to appoint caretaker governors across the 36 states. Nigeria will never know sleep until such a decision is rescinded. But nobody says anything when the government chairmen are dissolved. But it's the same scenario. It's the same scenario. Most local governments in Nigeria today are run by caretaker chairmen, and nobody says anything. Because for us, local governments don't matter. But I can tell you that local governments matter even more than the federal government and the state government matters to us as individuals. Why do I say so? Because it is the government that is closest to you. It's the government that means everything to you. That culvert that you pass by every morning on your way to work is under the control of your local government. That cottage hospital, that primary healthcare unit that is around the corner in your neighborhood is run by the local government. That local government educational LGEA primary school that you see as you drive past your street every day is run by the local government. The motor parks where your children, where you travel to where you go to big vehicles to travel and back every day is run by local governments. They run everything that is basic and of strong connection to us. But somehow, somewhere, we don't care about local governments. We care more about state governments, we care more about federal government, and nobody cares about the local government. That is why we are where we are today. We forget that because we have failed to strengthen our local government systems, the upper governments are failing. And I tell you, as long as you don't build a house from the foundation up, the house is bound to collapse. I have never seen anywhere a house is built from the roof down to the foundation. Houses are built from the foundation up, and so it is in every other system in the world. Every other system, every other order, anything in the world is built from the grassroots up. And that is the same thing that is bound to happen in Nigeria. Until and unless we begin to strengthen our local government electoral systems, our local government governance structure, and that can only be done through electoral systems, through elections, democratically elections, the democratic elections that are free and fair and independent of manipulations. Mind you, 75% of Nigerians are domiciled in rural areas. You can take that to the bank. Lagos, the mega city in Africa, has just less than 10% of Nigerians living there. They say about 18 million people are living in Lagos. But Nigeria has over 200 million people. So by the time you take out the 18 million people that are living in Lagos, you have less than 10% of Nigerian population living in Lagos. So where do the other 90% live? Apart from Lagos, no other city has as much as 10 million people apart from maybe Kano. So if you aggregate all the major cities in Nigeria, they account for less than 20% or 30% at most of Nigerians that live in bigger cities and towns. The remaining 60-70% are in villages. And these villages are controlled by local governments. Yet, we allow the elites to hijack the governance structure that affects the majority of Nigerians. And we expect good results? I doubt. We can never have such results unless and until we begin to tinker with our local government election systems. Now, how are local government elections carried out in Nigeria? They are carried out by state independent electoral commissions. Every state has one. In Benin, we have the Benin State Independent Electoral Commission. Independent electoral commissions. Now, these commissions are by law mandated to manage the elections of local government councils in their states. Most states, some states have, there is no standard duration for electoral cycle in every state. Some states have 15, some states have 3 years, others have 2. But none has 4 and none has 1. So it's either 3 or 2. In Benue, it's 2. But now, if a local government election takes place in a given year, if for instance there is a local government election in Benue this year, by the way, the elections were supposed to have taken place on the 30th. The state government scheduled local government elections in Benue for 30th of November, but I understand it has been shifted to sometime in March. But if, for instance, that election was carried out in November of 2019, then by November of 2021, the cycle of that election of the people that were elected from that particular election cycle will have ended. So one will have thought that by June, July, August of 2021, the Benin State Independent Election will have commenced another election cycle, which will have terminated by October, November, and a new local government council inaugurated by the end of November of 2021. But this is what they do. The system is alike. Benue is not a standalone in this situation. Every state in Nigeria is like that. The state independent electoral commissions don't conduct elections, even when they know that at the end of a given period, the election cycles are supposed to come up. They wait until the chief executive says conduct. Now, what happens is that if a given local government council is elected in power with a non-mandate period, it could be 2 or 3 years, whatever the number of years, the independent electoral commissions already know when their tenure is supposed to end. So, give and take, they are supposed to commence preparations towards another cycle of election when the current cycle is about to end. But they don't do that. They sit and wait for the chief executive of that state to give the orders. And in most cases, the chief executives are not in a hurry to conduct elections because, like I said earlier on, it is an avenue to manipulate state electoral apparatus. First-time governors use it to manipulate their second term. And second-time governors use it to manipulate their senatorial ambition. And it goes on and on and on and on forever. Because we have a system, we have an undocumented system in Nigeria where state governors always end up in the Senate. So when they are about to end their second tenure, they manipulate the electoral process at the grassroots so as to enhance the chances of their being elected for senator in the next coming election at the mercy of the people at the grassroots. So give and take, state independent electoral commissions are at the beck and call of state executives nationwide. And this is where the failure of our legislative houses comes into play. Because there are supposed to be checks and balances within every governance structure. But somehow, our legislators, state legislators, are MIA, missing in action. You don't get to hear them talk when the government council tenures are ended. They don't say nothing. And say the immediate lecturer is always quiet until the governor wakes up one morning and decides to appoint caretaker chairmen to fill in the vacant positions at the government councils. And who are the people that are elected as caretaker chairmen in the first place? In most cases, they are friends and party loyalists. So they are not accountable to the people. They are not elected by the people. They are at most. They are not running. They don't run a, how do I put it now? They don't run a legally recognized government, because the government is not backed up by the mandate of the people. The people don't give them the mandate to do that. And this is where if these things are open to interpretations by the courts. But we've had cases in Nigeria where the judiciary has lived up these expectations, where illegal caretaker chairmen have been sacked. So for our democracy to run in Nigeria the way it's supposed to be done, we must begin to strengthen our local government structures. Now, how is that to be done? That can be done in so many ways. Or before we even go to what has to be done, what are the implications of running a local government council by appointment? First of all, it denies the grassroots people that right to elect leaders of their choice. Leaders are foisted upon them. Leaders are shoved down their throats. They wake up one morning and they just hear that so and so person is their local government chairman without knowing who he is. So and so person is their ward councillor without knowing who he is, without having their mandate. Leaders are forced upon them. The second implication is that such a system encourages impunity. These leaders know that they are appointed, they are not elected, and therefore they carry on as if nothing matters. The only thing that matters is he that appoints them there, and not the people. They don't run with that care, with that mindset of providing service to the people. Now, the third thing, the third disadvantage of that again is that it stunts the growth of democracy, because somehow the democracy is supposed to be a platform where there should be civil liberties, there should be freedom in everything. But because these leaders are foisted upon the people, the people don't have the right to hold them to account, and that again is stunting the growth of democracy. Now, if we have an elected government election in place, the people will now have the right to hold such leaders to account. And yet another disadvantage of that kind of system again is that it brings autocracy. In a way, the state executives become autocratic, knowing fully well that nobody can challenge whatever they do. So they become autocratic in a sense, and that autocracy can aggregate into even to the national level. What else again? It leads to voter apathy, because if you see across Nigeria, when it's time for government election, nobody comes out. Everybody stays in their own home. Nobody comes out to say, I am going to vote. Oh, today is no government election in my ward. People stay at home because they know that whatever they do, they are going to get a different result. So nobody bothers to come out. So should we continue like this? I don't think we should. So what is supposed to be done? We are supposed to now we have some recommended ways which we think should be the way forward in correcting this anomaly. One, we believe that there should be a review of the electoral systems, local government electoral systems in Nigeria. This review, like if you see Section 7, like we say, playing into the hands of the state executives, though it states that democratically elected governance is supposed to be done at the grassroots level, it didn't give a clear-cut timelines. It wasn't very, very clear, and because of the ambiguity of that constitutional provisions, state executives use it to manipulate it according to how they want it to be. So there is a very strong need to review our electoral system, our laws as regards that issue. Now again, there will be need for the state independent electoral commissions. Now, some states might argue that the cost of running elections are huge, and therefore they may not be economically strong to conduct election. Now, but that can also be managed in a way, as it may be true, but then again, that can also be managed. How can it be managed? There can be some form of synergy. There should even be some arrangements, some collaboration sort of between state independent electoral commissions and the National Electoral Commission, and even the state and federal government. The two of them can come, these bodies can come together, these institutions can come together and say, okay, fine, we understand your challenge. We know that it might be burdensome economically on your part to conduct elections at this period. So why don't we share responsibilities? Why don't we share costs for the sake of democracy and the people of the country? There is nothing wrong with state independent electoral commissions partnering with INEC in conducting their elections, where they can now share, and the state government now share the cost of this with the federal government. This can be done. There can be some collaborative measures put in place that can even be backed up by law if need be. Now, we can even go ahead to say that there is need to begin to strengthen our legislative structures, our legislative system in the states. Our state legislators need to know that they are the representatives for the people, because every single legislator is representing a constituency, and it's the people that have sent them there to represent their wishes. So they need to stand up to protect the people whom they are representing, and that can be done through ensuring that local government elections are done in a way and manner that failure to do that is depriving their own people whom they represent of their right to choose leaders of their choices. So I think it will be really, really good if our state assemblies, our state legislators can rise up to the demand by ensuring that state executives conduct local government elections as and when due in a free and fair manner. They are the ones that make the laws. All state independent electoral commissions across Nigeria were products of state assemblies, and we still have state assemblies in these states operational up to this moment. So it is so where state independent electoral commissions are failing to conduct elections, then they have oversight functions over these years to call them to duty and say what is happening. Why can't we have elections at the given time? They even have the right to even call the chief executive of the state to order and say, Your Excellency, sir, we need to conduct no government elections so that the people can have the right to choose their leaders. And then most importantly, going further, it now rests upon us, the people, to begin to demand, as and when due, that no government elections are supposed to be carried out at so and so period. But we wait until the state executive begin to appoint local government council chairman, and then, like I said, we carry on as if it doesn't bother us. But we need to begin to speak, to begin to demand in a constructive and logical manner that such an abnormality should be stopped as a matter of right, as a matter of ensuring the growth of democracy in our country. And these are the measures through which we can begin to salvage the situation. We can begin to make local government elections in Nigeria work, and by extension, our democracy work. Because if our democracy is working at the grassroots, it will surely work at the state level and ultimately work at the national level. And of course, we all know how it is when you have a governance that is free, that is representing the people and executing its mandate in a legal and acceptable manner. Having said that, I think we have come to the end of this presentation. But before we go, let us try to begin to summarize what we have said here today. We say local governments are the closest governance structure to the people. Therefore, they need to have a strong electoral system in place, because a strong electoral system at the local government level will translate to a strong electoral system at the state level and ultimately at the federal level, which will strengthen and deepen and entrench our democracy on solid grounds. Having said that, I want to thank you so much for being part of this presentation. I hope you found it useful and interesting. And on that note, we urge you to tune in to our to this same broadcast same time next week. And please don't forget to leave your comment or whatever you have to say. There is a place for your comments, for your likes and whatever, to give us a feedback on this presentation and always. Thank you for watching and goodbye.